Hey you, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today we're going to talk about Blade Runner 2049. And guys, I've been a Blade Runner fan for years now. Many science fiction fans will class Blade Runner as maybe one of the greatest science fiction films ever created. It used to get like number 2 on my list. Over the years, it's kind of fallen from number 2. And Blade Runner is really based on the author Philip K. Dick's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Um, and if you saw the first Blade movie, like most of us have, HBO played it several dozen times a month over the years. I think I might have watched every time it came on HBO. Of course, we had Harrison Ford in it playing Deckard, who was like a bounty hunter, part of a task force that brought in replicants, of course, these synthetic beings. Also very interesting enough is the ties that the Blade Runner franchise has to other films, one being the Alien franchise. This all takes place in that universe, when we're dealing with Ridley Scott here, who created this. And so it takes place in the Alien universe, as references to it. It also took place in the Soldier universe, movie that came out in the late 90s starring Kurt Russell. Many tie-ins with a lot of work that Ridley Scott has done and other science fiction. Also very interesting is Ghost in the Shell. That's been quite similar elements to Blade Runner. A lot of people feel that Ghost in the Shell has, took a lot of influence from the Blade Runner movies. But also, what I found very interesting was that a lot of what we know as Japanese anime actually borrowed and started from Blade Runner. You can tell by how Blade Runner looks, and you compare that to a lot of Japanese anime, it has this very similar look and feel. And that's quite interesting because usually when you think of Japanese anime, you think it might have started in Japan, but some information, that I'm getting now is that a lot of the Japanese anime culture was influenced, starting out with this 1982 Blade Runner, so that had a lot to do with it. So, the director who's doing this, the director, Denis Villeneuve, I think he's Canadian, maybe French Canadian, and we know him from doing movies like The Arrival, Sicario. He has the upcoming Dune series, and what I want to say about that is, his style, from what I can see, he seems like he's gonna be good for doing Dune that's coming up. I think he has the right makeup to handle a job like Dune, and it looks like he's gonna do pretty good with Blade Runner here. So I think he has the vision to tackle this film properly. Um, you know, what else I want to say is that, with the actors, of course, we got Harrison Ford back. I'm assuming he's Deckard. That does present some issues. If you did watch Blade Runner, the original, if you haven't watched Blade Runner, the original, you definitely need to watch that. But, it was kind of left off with, is Deckard a replicant or is, Deckard human? Of course, we know replicants do not age, so we're seeing Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford is an older man, as we can see in the trailers, and so that would kind of kill the theory that Deckard was a replicant. It was planted in, the director's cut, and many other people have theorized, but that would mean he wasn't. And the problem with that is that if they do want him to be a replicant, they try to find a way to still allow him to be a replicant, then it would have to be that some way replicants could get old and they have to do all these, add all these various layers to it, or is he a copy of the actual, is he, or was Deckard a model after this person who is actually the real Deckard? So I don't know how they would do that yet. Not sure how the film's going to tackle that, but I'm a little bit concerned about that. As well, we got Ryan Gosling, as the main, character here. He's actually, it looks like he's a Blade Runner. How do I feel about that? Not a big Ryan Gosling fan. Ryan, and I think Ryan does better in romantic comedies. I think he does great in musicals. Ryan's never really been an action hero for me, but I think some people have liked him. I think he was in a movie called Drive. Here's the weird thing I would have liked to see from Blade Runner 2049, and that's, I think I would have liked to see Daniel Craig be the play the bounty hunter or the Blade Runner. And it's kind of, the thing that's kind of funny about me saying that is that as we talked about the director, Denis Villeneuve, he actually may have the next upcoming Bond film. He may direct that as well. He's like the it director in Hollywood now, so they're giving him all these big jobs, and so he may have the Bond. He may direct the next Bond movie, and Daniel Craig will reprise the role as James Bond, and I'm very happy about that. But now, Daniel Craig, sometimes you might look at, well, he doesn't have a real good connection to Harrison Ford, but they've actually starred together a movie. A lot of people didn't like that. I liked the story. I didn't too much like how it came out on film, but the movie Cowboys and Aliens, where you get Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford together. But I would rather have seen him than Gosling. Just not a Ryan Gosling fan for some reason. I'm not, but I think Ryan's a good actor, and if the story's good, I think he can, I think he can pull it off. Although he wouldn't have been my first choice. So what is the story about? I don't really know. I would assume it's because Harrison Ford's in it and he's looking for Harrison Ford, he's looking for answers. I'm under the assumption that the story is going to follow, something about Ryan Gosling character, his relationship to replicants, and Harrison Ford's relationship to replicants, if he's a replicant or not. And obviously Ryan Gosling isn't really there to take him in, but he's there to find out some answers about more than likely what's going on with replicants. And we see replicants being birthed or born. And, we get Jared Leto. Now, Jared Leto seems to be, I'm under the assumption he must be like the Tyrell Corporation was, right? I don't know if he's the successor of it. But he seems to be somewhat responsible for birthing these replicants, these synthetics. He looks like a synthetic himself. So I'm assuming, is he then like a replicant creating replicants? Or is he just fused with replicant parts and he's a human and he's doing something with the replicants? And he seems like obviously the antagonist. He seems like he's going to be the villain in somewhat, or the person who's responsible for a lot of trouble somewhat. And so, but I like Jared Leto. I think he's going to do good in this role. I like this Joker. I think he is one of these people who can do a good job playing both hero and villain at the same time. Or he can go back and forth between those roles and do pretty good at them. Play these type characters who's the bad guy, and that's a bit psychotic, right? And so in a situation like this, you might need that kind of atmosphere, because I would imagine, or that type of personality, because I would imagine people who create replicants have this type of God complex. They're in a sense creating life, synthetic life. So they have this God complex, and that can drive some people to insanity. And Jared Leto, I think it would be great if that's what his character is. I got a feeling it's going to end up being something like that. And of course, pollution is terrible. As it's always been in these Blade Runner movies to suggest, this is what the world will be like in the next 30 years or so. And so far, guys, I like what I'm seeing. Overall, the story is definitely something I will see. The vision and the look of it, I think Denis Villeneuve, I think he's gonna do a good job with this. And I'm interested in seeing what they do with this movie. I've always been a fan of these Blade Runner series, guys, and so that's pretty much my analysis and review, on it so much, so far. That it looks good. The flying car scenes look great in it. Even back in the early 80s when they did this movie, the flying cars looked awesome. The cinematography of this film just was excellent. And even if you watch it today, it's still, in my opinion, a very well done film. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this new Blade Runner coming out. If you think it's going to be a good movie, I think it is. Let me know if you think Harrison Ford's going to die in this, like he dies in all of his movies. Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're on Steam It, don't forget to upvote this. And time, take care.